everybody here. You're live, Under the Mat Radio. Here, take two with your host, Tech. Also with great correspondent, Saltine. Here with another
Hello.
great interview for the year 2023. Today's date is March 28th, 2023. Season of the Aries, season of the Ram. Shout out to my wife, Ram Nation, and all the great Aries. My Aunt Rose, Z, a whole bunch of other great Aries, D Dizzle. My sis Melita, everybody, great Aries is here. Time is 6:52 p.m. Eastern Time. We're here. Another great interview in Under the Mat Radio history. We're not using Skype, we're using Zoom. This is Wrestlemania week. It's the best Wrestlemania. And like this. Wrestlemania week, we have a great guy with us, great brother of mine. We've been following each other for a while. Bringing in Fig Hill, which we will in the feed. Great wrestling toy collector, wrestling figure collector, great collector as he's done. He has signed with Matt Cardona, better known as Zack Ryder. Of course, also with his tag partner, Zack Ryder, you got Kurt Hawkins. Myself being a professional collector with Funko Pops and everything. So a team being a great collector with the Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and what have you. Power Rangers, we'll talk more about that. Follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter page is back up. It is Tech, TECH_UTMR. Follow us on Instagram, IG as the kids call it, Facebook, and Under the Mat Radio. You can still use Facebook. If you're still using MySpace or Black Planet, then something's wrong with you. You need to get over the time. So we're going to bring up now, man himself. Great wrestling collector, wrestling figure collector, got nice hands and clean fingernails, as my wife always say. Look at that man's hands. And he got nice clean fingernails, because that's all you see on his videos is his fingernails or his forearms and his figures. The man himself, Big Hill. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? I appreciate the compliment on that, man. It's huge, man. You got to have decent looking hands. You can't have some kind of straggly looking nails and stuff like that, holding things. You know what I mean? And for the longest time on my YouTube videos, it was mostly just my hands, but then people really wanted to see me. And so I did start doing like unboxings where you can see me, and I started showing my face more. I didn't think people cared to see me. I thought people just wanted to see the things I bought, the things that I had, the things that I showed off. But people wanted to see more of me, so I started showing more of me. And I think that's pretty evident lately because I show a lot more of myself than I used to. But, I mean, that's part of being a brand, right?
It is.
Absolutely.
Gotta say, man, look, you're a good-looking man. You're an attractive man. Look, I'm a black man, proud, married and everything. So a team black man, proud, bald headed, good looking man. So you good. The ladies probably love the face, and it's good to see.
I tried, man.
It is.
I didn't know if the wrestling figure collectors would appreciate the face, though. You know what I mean?
we all know about the stereotypes of collectors and being pro wrestling and collecting and radio and podcasting. It ain't too many of us that's attractive. So you fit that room. I do. So team, you see his big ass bald head right now like a milk dud. we all fit in. So that's good.
Hey man, not everybody can rock the bald look. So man, I anybody that can, I give it to them. You know, like it's not easy. Not everybody can rock it the same way. So if you look good with the clean head, I'm sure a lot of us are going to end up that way in the end, you know what I mean? And not all of us going to look good. So, Saltine, you're pulling it off.
Yes.
Thank you.
Look, I'm almost getting there. My head's short.
Wow.
I got to get the spray. I got to get about 3-5 sprays when I get my head.
We're all going to get there one day, man.
Look, I'm right at the cusp of 40, so it's getting there. You got a head, so you can cover that up.
I love the hat. It's probably a problem, though. So, we'll see. But yeah, man. I get the stereotypical what's everybody always says, like, you know, like collectors don't get girls, don't have this, and it's like I do fine. I mean, I've never had somebody have an issue with it. You know, it's a part of me. Like, and I think what I always tell people, because I actually get that question a lot from people who follow me, I'll have, you know, young guys, maybe like in their late teens, early 20s, and they'll say, you know, I started dating this girl and I like her, but I'm really afraid to like let her know about my collection. Like, I don't like, how do you do it? And I was like, I, I don't hide nothing. Like, I don't hide nothing. Like that's part of you. If that's going to be a defining factor that somebody doesn't want to be with you or talk to you, then you shouldn't want to be with that person anyway, man. Like, it's a part of you. Now, is it an unconventional part? Maybe. I mean, like, not everybody collects, you know what I mean? But everybody has something that might be unconventional. You know what I mean? Everybody has something that is quote unquote weird about them or different or uncommon. Um, and I feel like a lot of people, when they have things like that, um, they almost feel shame or they want to hide it. And I think that the negative reactions come from hiding something. When you treat something about you as if you should be ashamed of it to other people, of course they're going to see it that way. But anytime, like, I've had a girl who, like, and I've said, like, this is what I do. Like, I present it just like that. Like, this is what I do. I write these books. I review these things. I have different, like, companies I work with, but it's something that I've loved my entire life. I present it like that. Like, it's nothing. I don't treat it like I'm ashamed of it. But I think if someone comes in very timid and they're like, I don't know how to break this to you. I like these, like, then it comes off as like a thing of weakness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it really is all about the presentation. If you're confident in something that you love, anybody who doesn't like that, I don't know, man, I wouldn't want them in my life. That's how I see it.
I feel you. I do.
Yeah.
Look, for both of us and my other staff, shout out to EXO, to Afrocentric Queen, DR. LSR that's not available for this episode. We all collect and do different things. And
Yeah.
we're blessed to have all families, wives, husbands, boyfriend, girlfriends, best friends, or what have you, acceptance of who we are. So we all got that quote weird or quirky stuff against you. You gotta accept it. Say, hey,
Yeah.
yeah, so I could be out selling drugs, cocaine, heroin, or as people say in Baltimore, heroin. But there's different things like that. So it's
Yep.
all good, man. Now I gotta give a shout out. We talk about collecting, and I'll let Saltine take over. We gotta talk about Daddy Fig, your father. I've been following you for a while. First video I saw of you was wee hours in the morning back when my mom was living. Shout out to my mom, Mama Tech. And I watched this video, of course, this is later, where you talked about how Daddy Fig, we call him that, helped you out with your Hasbro collection.
Yep.
And you had them displayed one area, but then you had them up on the wall. So talk about, as we call him now, Daddy Fig, that's his name now. How
Yeah.
Daddy Fig was inspiration to you, and about that closeness of you being a son of your dad, and about collecting those Hasbro figures.
Yep. So my dad, I call him Papa Figs. Papa
Papa
Figs.
Figs, right? That's the name, Papa Figs.
The So yeah, so he used to be a toy salesman at a local flea market, and he started doing that, to help pay the bills and everything like that. And it turned into that he started, like, appreciating toys and stuff. And he started, like, I was a real little kid, and he started buying some toys for himself, and he started to, like, learn about them. And he's who gave me all this information about how, like, this is something that you can make a career out of. This is something that you can invest in and have value in things. And he showed me, like, how loose figures, like certain ones, can be more valuable simply because they're in better condition. Mint on card, he taught me all about that. He used to buy all the toy magazines, and he would show me everything and, like, how values differ from certain things and how condition matters. And he just really hammered that home. And I remember he he, like, encouraged me that I should use my personal money to invest in some Hasbro's that KB Toys was kind of clearing out, 3 for $10. Anybody in our age group remembers that. You go into KB Toys that have these big wire bins filled with
Yep.
Hasbro's, 3 for $10, with that, like, that iconic KB Toys sticker on it. You know what I mean? And it's funny because I bought them all, like that I could afford. I bought a ton of them. And he encouraged me to do that. He was like, all right, you're not going to open these ones because you already have these loose, but you're investing in these. And this is we're going back 1993. So what's that? 30 years ago now. I forgot all about them. I bought my house in 2017, started building my collection room in 2018. And, I was, periodically going over to my parents' house and just finding these like boxes and tubs of wrestling figures that I could bring over to my house and put in my collection room. And I mean, I was doing this for months and months and months. And then buried deep in the back of like the basement in a big box, I was like, it just said my name. And I was like, what is this? I opened it up. And when I tell you there was probably 40 mint on card Hasbros in there, all different, I was like, my eyes popped out of my head. I was like, oh my God, I remember this. Like, it was like finding like a treasure. Like I felt like I opened up the box and a gold light came out, hit my face. You know what I mean? It was, and I was like, oh my God. And I remember I said, Dad, thank you. He didn't remember the whole scenario telling me to get them. He was like, are you sure they're not mine? I was like, Dad, I'm telling you, you told me to get these. We ended up finding he had like 2 cases of them, still has them in there of all kinds of stuff. Yeah. But yeah, man, that was like a huge discovery for me, man. And it was an expensive one because then I started buying more and more mints on card Hasbros. But yeah, he was a big inspiration for me in the toy collecting world. And I wonder if he never did sell toys and collect toys himself, if I would have simply just grown out of the appreciation of action figures and toys as I hit high school and stuff. You know what I mean? If that would have just all been lost on me. But the fact that like he showed me that these aren't just for playing, you know what I mean? That kind of validated that, okay, like even when you're done playing with action figures, you can still have an appreciation, still have a collection, still have a reason to have them. Because that's another question I get all the time. Like people ask me all the time on my TikTok, do you play with these? I do not play with them. No, I do not play with them. Any loose ones, like it's hard for people to understand. Like we take them out, we put them on the shelf. That's it. It's a decorative. It's art. To me, that's what I say. This is my art. You go to the store, you buy these, these little sunset paintings or whatever. I go to the store, I buy a mint on card figure, and that's art to me. That is the art that I display in my house. Like that is what I appreciate. And it is because I can't just go and make an action figure. You need to be an artist. You need to be skilled. You need to know what you are doing. And it is 100% art that gets turned into a 3D manipulative object. It is 100% art, and nobody can ever tell me different on it. And that's the art that I like to appreciate.
We definitely agree with that.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to Papa Feed.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Salty.
Okay, my first question is, everyone has that rare item in their collection that was hard to find and hard to get. All right. When you found it, it was a steep price. I mean, it was like a good amount of money. All right. What items were your rare finds?
So it's crazy. I have 2. Both are very expensive, but I didn't pay what they go for. So I'll explain. They're 2 of my favorite items. One, going back to Papa Figs, I want to say it was probably 4 years ago, 4 Christmases ago now, right before the pandemic. Christmas, like we're end of the day, we're just exchanging some small gifts and stuff. And he gives me this package. I open it up, and I swear my jaw dropped because it was like you couldn't have caught me off guard more than he did in this moment. I open it, and it's a mint on card Hasbro 1-2-3 Kid. And it blew my mind. You know what I mean? Like that's probably to the normal person there, it's nothing. But to somebody who collects these, they know that that's a big deal to get something. And for my dad to spend the money that he did on it, which was a good deal, he got it for $190. This was right before the pandemic, which is good. When you consider how much it sells for now, it almost went up $1,000. You know what I mean? Just in 4 years. It's crazy. But so anyway, that was a huge one. Like that was, not only is it because it's a rare figure, but there's a super like emotional and like sentimental story to getting that. Like, I vividly remember that entire situation of getting that. It could not be more caught off guard, like I said. Another one was another Hasbro thing. It was the mint in bag Hogan mail away that I have.
Oh wow, with the pants.
What's it? Yeah.
So,
I didn't have that as a kid because as a kid I was like, that's not. I don't want that. Like, it's Hogan in red pants. Why would I want that?
right.
You know, like, that's, to me, that's not Hulk Hogan at the time. We know that he went on and started to wear the pants more, you know, the long tights. But at the time, I was like, weird. I don't want it. You know, and then as time goes on, I'm like, man, I wish I had that. Got to be very expensive. At this point, it was like a $1,200 figure. I think it's more now.
Yeah,
but
it is.
Yeah, I entered a raffle on a Facebook group, and I remember I put in $24. I was like, I'll put $24 in this raffle. I can't put more. And it was a big raffle, a lot of people in it, and I ended up winning. So I ended up getting this figure for $24. And like, another thing, like, the story is such importance to that to me. Another one. And I didn't spend a lot of money on it. It was I spent, I'll be honest, I spent $100 on it. I have the hand painted resin prototype of the Rock's first ever figure, the Rocky Maivia, and I've been offered a lot of money for it in recent years, like big money.
Now just to ask you about the Rock's first figure. When you and I first talked offline, when I messaged you,
yeah.
If I'm correct, isn't this the Superstars line, Series 1? Is this the one?
It's Superstars. I think it's Series 5, if I'm correct.
Series 5? Okay.
Yeah, Series 5, and he is from the Bone Crunching line. He had
with the white boots.
Yeah, and he had like
the only one he had the white boots. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew something about. Yep.
It just, like, I wanted this figure so bad because as a kid, on the back of the package, he was in this like fighting stance with his arms bent, like he's ready to fight. And at the time, in Maivia, he looked that way. He would always have that fighting stance, you know. And then it came out, and his arms were just straight elongated, and you could not bend them. You couldn't bend them to get that fight. And I was like, man, that sucks. Like, it looks so much better with those fighting arms. So when I saw it available, I was like, man, I need this. This is something I wanted as a kid. I have to have it. $100, I'll do it. In retrospect, it was a great deal. But like I said, I've been offered a lot of money for it because I think it's such a historical thing that now he is one of the biggest, just in general, stars in the world.
Oh, yeah.
That it's the first ever prototype, one of a kind, hand painted. I don't think I could ever let go of it. I don't think anybody could throw enough money at me unless I'm in like real dire straits. I don't think anybody could take it from me. It would take a lot, like a lot. And people have tried, and it would take a whole lot.
And that's what people may not understand as collectors, or anything that you do, you put money into, or as we do legit hunts where we take time out, blood, sweat, tears, years, online, at the store, digging through boxes, digging through shelves, dust in your eye, allergies, coughing up. That's legit hunting. And the fact that it takes you that long to get it, even through a raffle, eBay, or different things, Amazon, to get a figure, it's the process, it's the journey of obtaining that figure. It means a lot. So as a collector myself, professionally, I get it. All right. So a team definitely gets it. You get it. So there's certain things was like I remember that figure when it came out. The only figure that had the Rock with white boots. The only time he wore white boots with the calves out. After that, black boots all the time.
Absolutely.
So,
like, to me, it's an iconic thing, and yeah, like you said, like it's the hunt. Sometimes the hunt behind it, and like I tell people literally all the time, like I have a massive collection, but I'm very, very patient. I always look for the best deal. If something has a going rate, I like paying under that. And I will wait forever if I have to pay under that. I think, because I don't understand that where people jump at these things. They're like, oh, this thing, I got to get it now. And it's like, to me, it's like, all right, if there's 10 of them on eBay for the same price. It's readily available at any moment that I need to pay that price. Why don't I just hold off and look around, see what I can do? Like, everything's out there. But if you don't want to look for it and take the time and be patient, I mean, yeah, pay the full price by all means. That's everybody's prerogative, but I like finding a deal. I do.
That's important. That's the best way.
Yeah.
Sign the deal, wait. A lot of people don't want to wait. They want to jump right in. You wait about 6 months to a year. Value may go down, it may go up. The demand may go down some.
Yep.
The demand can go up. You get, you get lucky with a raffle. You just know how to play the game. So
that's all it is, man. It's a game. Just like, and at the end of the day, like, we don't need any of this. So I think a lot of people get caught up in that, like that keeping up with the Joneses. Like, I need this, I need this, I need this. It's like, another thing I tell people, I said, do not live without your means. Like, you have to stay within your means. Don't go into debt over these things. It breaks my heart when I see people, buying all these figures through Klarna, putting payments into these buying action figures and they have to pay monthly on them. Like, just, it's not worth it. It's really not worth it. Like, hold off, wait until you're ready and you're within the means to be able to do it. Trust me, there's been times in my life where, like, I didn't have it and I just went without because, like, your financial stability and paying your serious bills are way more important than being able to have a figure first and post it on Instagram.
I agree with that. There you go, Saltine.
Hey, this simple question is: Wrestling seems to be your main museum. I've seen your videos, and I'm like, geez, do you have any other figures? So my question is: do you have any other figures you collect, and what are they? Because as I see, your house is filled up with figures. They everywhere.
So I used to, up until just last year, the end of last year, I was big into collecting the NECA horror ultimate figures. I thought they were so cool. I had a bunch of them. The Freddy's, Jason, Trick or Treat Sam. I thought they were such cool pieces. Leatherface. I had a whole bunch of them. Chucky, you name it. Annabelle, a bunch, man. Like, I loved them. But then I was like, yeah, I don't know. Why am I collecting these? Like this isn't like where my heart is. They were fun. They were cool, and I ended up selling them. I do collect the Funko Pop South Park figures. I think they're cool. But outside of that, I really don't collect anything else. Like, my heart is in wrestling figures. I watch other brands. Like, I watch what's coming out. Like, I saw those new like the Flash figures for the Flash movie, and I just think that is so cool. The Michael Keaton Batman. I mean, being revived all these years later, Michael Keaton is Batman, and that '89 Batmobile. Like,
yeah, it's the best.
Oh, it's so cool. Am I gonna buy it? No. Again, the McFarlane Build-A-Figure Bane figure of the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so cool. They're beautiful. Like the Heath Ledger Joker, incredible. But I'm like, I'm not gonna buy these. I can't get it. Where am I gonna put them? You know what I mean? Like, they don't fit into what I have going on. So I kind of just watch from the stands. You know what I mean? I cheer on from the stands. I'll post stuff here and there, and like when I know something hot is dropping, I'll post a link on it or something in the story. But I really try to stick to just wrestling because that's really where my heart is, man. I love it. I probably love it a little bit too much, because I just get so excited about everything that comes out. Even if it's not like great, I just get so excited about it.
And that's understandable. You talked about your sentimental figures about the 1-2-3 Kid and the Rocky Maivia with the White Boot Series 5. Now, we got to ask you, growing up, were you Hasbro or LJN? And the second part of the question is later in life with the younger kids, because we grew up. I sent you a picture of me. LGN was me. AWA and the LGN was me first. So back in the day it was AWA, you had LGN and Hasbro. You got the younger fans like the 25, 30-year-olds is Jax or Mattel. So let us know. Hasbro, LGN, Jax or Mattel. Wow.
So I was born in '88, so I'll be 35 in I think 2 weeks to the day, something like that. So I think I was at the perfect age where I was able to love both Hasbro and the Jax BCAs. So those are like, I'm between those two. I think because of the Attitude Era and the playability of Jax, like that's where as a kid I have the fondest memories of playing with them. Mm-hmm. But also same thing with Hasbro's. I loved Hasbro. So it's those two. I did have the LJNs and the AWA Remcos growing up when I was a kid because my older brothers had them. So they were passed down to me. So I had the appreciation for them too. So like I said, my dad was a toy guy. He didn't throw anything out. So they were done with the AWAs and the LJNs. I got them. And I never mixed. That was one thing. Like I hear people talk about, like they would mix things. Like if I was in the mood to play with the AWAs, that's what I played with. If I was in the mood to play with the LJNs, that's what I played. I never mixed. Man, it's tough. It's between the Hasbros and the BCAs, but I probably got to go, honestly, BCA because of the memories that I had with them for the Jax figures. I mean, we're talking about to me, the two greatest of all time is Stone Cold and The Rock, and they were, hot in that era. And the playability of them, I loved giving stunners to other figures. I loved giving The Rock bottom.
Yeah.
I have such fond memories of creating matches, whereas Hasbro's as a kid, I think I just kind of played with the actions a lot. Pulled the arm back, punch, clotheslined them just over and over and over, and as opposed to creating a match. So I think I'll go with the BCAs.
I agree with that. Now what we're gonna do, because time is short on Zoom, we're gonna take a break. I'm gonna hit stop. Then we're gonna do the continuation on Skype. That's fine with you, Sid.
All right.
So everybody stay tuned. We're gonna be back in about 1 minute. We're going to see the resumption of this interview on Skype, because Zoom has a certain time limit and Skype gives us more love. So we'll be right back with Under the Mat Radio. Welcome back, everybody. Part 2 of our great interview with Fig Hill. As you watched, we're talking. We had to switch platforms.
Yeah.
Fig Hill had to prep for his dinner. I had to do the same. Had to take a bathroom break, so we're back here. I'm talking. You're here, of course, with Tech, myself, Saltine, great correspondent with our great guest Fig Hill, one of the great famous wrestling collectors and collectors in general. Myself and Saltine also being great collectors as well. Just to let everybody know, as a reminder, you can follow us on Twitter at Tech, TECH_UTMR. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Under the Mats Radio. Follow us. Also, Fig Hill. You can just Google him. Fig Hill, like Fig Newton's Fig, Fighell. I'm sorry, Figheel. Follow him on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. You don't have a MySpace, do you?
Man, if it was beneficial, I would. If it was beneficial, I would.
Tinder accounts. Anything like
anything,
that.
Man. Anything I can get it on. Anything I can get it on, it's on there.
Fig Hill. Where we left off at last time, we was talking about different figures and sentiments of value about the 1, 2, 3 kid, the Rocky, by via the Rock Series 5. You mentioned how it was with the Jax against Mattel, LGN against Hasbro, which is cool. Now, recently, You did this last week, but it was just recorded on air yesterday. You was on Wheel of Fortune with a third of the New Day, Xavier Woods, and I believe Drew McIntyre was on there as well. So talk to us about that episode.
So it was actually filmed back in January, end of January. Great experience. I keep telling people it's like probably like a top 10 life experience for me. It was just an absolute excellent time. Spent 14 hours hanging out, chopping it up, goofing off, being silly with people that I admire. You know what I mean? People that I think are great performers. It was just a great time, man. Like I had a lot of fun with Woods. He was great. His big thing was he was like, money is everybody puts focus on the money. He was like, I want us to get a meme worthy clip. I want us to be a GIF. He's like, I want us to be something that ends up on news sites. He's like, that's my goal. That's what I want for this. He said, the money's always nice. He said, but let's do something meme worthy. So we collaborated for a long time. I would say probably like a good hour just talking about silly things that we could do, like just ridiculous stuff. And they cut a lot of the stuff that we did in the episode because they edit a lot. But we ended up getting there's a clip of us right now that's pretty much going viral. The New York Post picked it up. Ringside News, like a bunch of websites picked it up of us laughing at the girl making a sexual guess on a puzzle, and we couldn't hold it in. We were laughing, and then we ended up answering it correctly. But I mean, we're getting the coverage, me and him. So I mean, like, I guess what he wanted came true. Like we got that little viral clip, and to me, I think that's so cool. It's such a cool thing to share with him, man. He's a great dude. From the second that we linked up out there, he was so excited to be a part of it and so excited to meet me and ask me a lot of questions. And he really, it was a great time, man. I got to tell you though, the New Day, so much fun to be around. Big E, 14 hours, my man did not stop. My man was on the whole time. What you see on TV, that's him, and he did not stop. My man was on for 14 hours straight, just entertaining. That guy, unbelievable. Unbelievable energy in that man. It's not an act. It is not an act. That is him. That is him.
Let him, guys.
Yes, man. He has it.
Kofi.
Yeah, love Kofi, man. Let me tell you something. You know how you come around somebody and you're just like, man, that dude, he was cool, man. They just exude this like coolness, like that just radiated right off him. He was just so chill and just had this swagger to him, man. Just a cool dude. Loved being around the New Day, man. Loved it. They made the whole experience so fun. Like everything that they are on TV, that is them. And the majority of the stuff that was happening that day was not on camera. Just goes to show how authentic they are to themselves. Another one that I think people will be surprised by, Austin Theory, man. Incredible guy. Like you could just being in his presence, so you can see how he has it. And dude's definitely 100% going to be a star. I always liked them, but once I was in the presence, I was like, okay, I see. You almost like feel this like presence being around him. You know what I mean? Excellent guy. A lot of fun to be around. Real personable. Just a great experience, man. The whole thing had a lot of fun, and I'm so glad that I did it. I'm so glad that I went out there.
Great, guys. Shout out to all of the New Day. We gotta add respect to my man named Dr. Xavier Woods. Gotta give him props, man. Dr. Xavier Woods. Big E, we wish him well with his recovery.
Yep.
Kofi. I was there at WrestleMania 35 during the Kofi Mania when he defeated Daniel Bryan,
I
which
was
was
there as well.
amazing. Yeah, we talked. Yeah, we was there. Didn't know each other yet, and
Yeah.
that was one of the biggest pops, if not the biggest pop,
Yep.
that night. Um,
Yeah.
with Kofi and this great guy, as you can tell. I remember back at WrestleMania 32, that was in Dallas. That was when New Day was really starting to hit, but the Bootios was new. And
Yep.
I remember us leaving the stadium, and we had to walk from the stadium to the hotel, and the whole people were just chanting Bootios and New Day, and that's all you heard. And this is
That's a,
on the cusp of them becoming like mainstream cultural phenomenons that they
Yeah.
are. And I'm talking about white people, Asian people, Lottie
Yep.
Dotties, Indians, everyone just saying New Day, Bootios, chanting. And this was after WrestleMania. The main event was Reigns against Triple H.
Yep.
They chanting Bootios and New Day, so it was organic. And that's, of course, we know the history with them of how they worked hard in the pancakes and the trombone and everything that they do. So definitely love to them. We've been fans with them for since day one. Big E when he was in developmental, Kofi when he started out as the air quote Jamaican, he lost his accent.
Yeah.
Xavier when he was Consequences Creed and TNA, you could just see it. Same thing with Austin Third. You could just see people have their it factor. You could
Yep.
see it with him. People just had their charisma where they could talk and have fun. Now, how was it with dealing with Pat Sajak? We all grew up with Pat Sajak. Pat Sajak, the
of
late
course.
great Alex Trebek. Wheel of Fortune was on at whatever time it was where you live at, and then Jeopardy was always after.
Yep.
So, how was it dealing with Pat Sajak, and how was he?
So I mean, Vanna White was really nice. Pat's. I didn't really get to talk to Pat Sajak too much. He asked me a few questions in the beginning of the show, in my intro. Um, he was nice to me. They cut a lot of the stuff from mine and Xavier's intro, but it's a lot more than a typical show. Typically on a show, they do 3 intros. This one, there was 3 teams, so it's 6 intros. So they had to cut it down. I get it. We had some really cool stuff in our stuff though that got cut, but they did end up putting it on social media and on the website. So that's how you know that it was, it was worthy of being posted. Pat was nice, when we in that little clip I was talking about, the little meme, like we were laughing. He came up and hit us with the cards, and he was like, "You two," and he's like, "You guys gotta stop it." They cut that too, but it was he was playful. It was Pat Sajak. He was exactly what I expected him to be. You know what I mean? That's another thing. A guy, he acts how he is on the show. Like, you see posts all the time of different things, but I enjoyed being around him.
Yep. I mean, he's a fellow Murder.
There you
He's
go.
from
Yep.
Severn. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I
Yes.
enjoyed the whole thing. They were both very, very. Everybody there treated me very, very well. So I don't have a bad thing to say about anybody, man. It was a great experience through and through.
Now, let me ask you too, and I get it with being a background actor, working on different different big streaming services. They say Netflix, HBO Max, Paramount Plus. I understand being on set 14, 16, 18 hours, and a lot of the stuff you see on camera, it has nothing to do with what was edited out. And sometimes, as we talked about off screen, and Eric knows, sometimes it's the stuff that's not that the audience don't see. That's the funny stuff.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that they don't add on the show. So just always get the fact that you say, hey, anybody can do that part on camera. Wheel of Fortune, or we have to do X, Y, Z. But if you're having fun with your cast or whoever you're with off camera, when this isn't being public, they could be assholes if they want.
Yep.
But the fact that you're having fun with them off camera, Austin Theory, Biggie, Kofi, Dr. Xavier Woods, shows a lot about who they are. Because that's when you really get to see when the cameras stop rolling and they say cut, and you take a minute, you got everybody pat makeup and sipping water, you getting Pop Tarts, Nutri-Green bars, and all these
Yep.
snacks. You know how it is. that's when you get to see who they really are because the camera's not on. So they
Yep.
can be, all right, they're legit an asshole. You're going to see it. You know, are
Yep.
they grumpy? You're going to see it. But the fact that they're like they're on and off camera gives a straight, honest testament to how they are as people.
Yep.
And that's a great thing. Definitely is a great thing.
And the thing with the New Day is all three of them grew up watching Wheel of Fortune, and they made this known that this was something that was a big part of their family, and to be able to be a part of it meant so much to them. Especially, Woods has already been on, so this was like he's been here, he understood how it all worked. He conquered that beast. So this was second time on. But Big E and Kofi, man, they appreciated this opportunity so much. Like they were so excited to be able to spin the wheel. They were like, it meant a lot, like it was a family memory. And to be able to be a part of that, like they were like, I think it was Big E. He was like, I wish my grandmother could see me do this right now. Like, it just meant a lot to them.
Yeah, it is. Let's actually there's a fair question here about the New Day.
Sure.
Who would you choose if you had to fight someone in a dark alley? Who out of the New Day would you choose to fight beside you
To fight beside me?
in the dark alley?
Man, I think I gotta go. I gotta be honest. I think I gotta go at Woods. My man stuck by me and through the Wheel of Fortune. I think he'd have my back, man. We're gonna, we really hit it off, me and him. I'm gonna have to go at Woods. I think he would have my best interest in mind, and I think that together that we could conquer it. But I mean, that's not to throw shade at Kofi, man. Dude's agile as hell. I'm sure in a dark alley there's some escape ladders hanging. He could probably grab onto one, do some Spider-Man
like a
shit.
Jackie Chan.
Yeah, man, do some Spider-Man, Jackie Chan shit. We got Big E, who I'm sure in a dark alley you could probably pick up a dumpster and throw it at somebody. I mean, the dude is like,
he's the heavy. He's big.
Man.
He's gonna
He's got
beat
the
your
width.
ass.
He's got the width. He's got the depth. I mean, like, I don't think you could go wrong picking one, but I got to stick by my partner. We're gonna go with Xavier.
So you got Dr. Xavier. This is a 3-part question. This is from our fan Shannon that sent this in today. So you picked Dr. Xavier Woods in the dark alley.
Yep.
Now, if you was caught in a Saw trap, the movie Saw, if you was in the Saw trap, who would you pick out of those three?
To help me?
Yeah, to help you.
Woods. I'm picking Woods 100%. 100%.
Okay.
Now this
going
ain't.
on
I'm
a
not.
figure hunt.
Hold on. This is not to throw shade again. I gotta give love to Big E and Kobe. This is not to throw shade, man. They all are intelligent men. You could just tell by speaking to them. But I mean, just knowing Woods' background, you know what I mean? He's educated, very, very educated, and he enjoys being educated. He enjoys learning more and thinking. Yeah, he's big into games. He's got up, down, down. I think that he would be very good at thinking outside the box. So, gotta go Woods.
Now, brother, I consider you a brother from another mother.
Yep.
Big E and Kofi, they're thinking like, yo, really? 2 out of 3? You picking Axel over me?
Listen, man. All right. Let's also
now,
let's also address the elephant in the room. All right. Big E's got a neck injury right now. I don't want to put him through no more problems right now. He needs to heal up.
Understand. You don't want to be a liability. We love you, Big E, but
Kofi's got the ankle injury, I think it is right
the
now.
ankle, yeah.
I want him to recover. I want him to recover. All right, man. All right, Tech. I want him to recover. So we're gonna go with Xavier. He's ready for battle. He's ready to get me out of that trap. And he's also ready to take that Andre the Giant Battle Royal trophy on Friday. I'm confident. I need to see him take it. He was the king of the ring. I need to see him take the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
I feel you. So you saved yourself, with the liability. Kofi got the ankle. Big E got the neck. So you go with Xavier. Now, this has nothing to do with injuries. To go on a figure hunt, as we've all done professionally. Out those three, who would you pick?
Well, I think Big E's out in that scenario. Woods is a video game nerd. You know what I mean? He loves the video games. I don't know if he knows much about figures, but I do know that Kofi does collect.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what, but he does collect. He is interested in the toy realm. You know what I
Yes,
mean? So I think
he
I got to
is.
go with Kofi. I think Kofi
He is.
knows. I think he's got an eye for what's toyetic. So I got to go with Kofi.
Okay.
Now, if I
So
was
we
looking,
got Kofi.
but if I was looking to add some vintage wrestling video games to my collection, you know where I'm going. All right, I'm going with Woods, but I would love to hit the weights with Big E. See, I got to give them all love. I got to give all
Oh
three of
yeah.
them love.
Oh yeah. All of them. Now, vintage video games. We got to give Wiz his credit. But all different AJ Styles, who we've interviewed and talked to, and shout out to guy who worked for the show, NSC Game Boy, another professional gamer. AJ Styles hit this up before. So
Okay.
if you need vintage video games, Xavier Woods or AJ Styles
Okay.
definitely will hook you up. When it comes to video games, they're like the senseis
I got you. Okay.
with that. But oh yeah, shout out to definitely love all those. That's the fan question. Shout out to Shannon in Bethesda for sending that question. With being a toy collector, it being a professional collector, has been in conventions, talk shout out to Matt Cardona, shout out to Zach Wright, Matt Cardona, shout out to Kurt Hawkins, being
Gonna beat your
collectors.
ass for that.
Yes, he will. There's a downside of collecting. Let's talk about some ugly ass figures, man. We've been I've been collecting as long as you. I'm a tad bit older than you, Fig Hill. It's been some ugly ass figures that came on out. So you
Mm-hmm.
let us know through your whole collection. What are some figures that you're like, yo, these things ugly as shit?
Listen, man.
And and two, tell us about your disappointment personally about a figure you was like, man, I can't wait to get KB Toy Stores or Toys R Us or for Christmas or whatever it is, and you see it, you like, man, what the hell is this? Or you just was so disappointed.
So when it comes to ugly figures, uh, what comes to mind initially every time people talk about ugly figures is Billy Gunn's um, Titantron Live figure. Isn't the before they scan the heads? Oh my God, it's hideous.
Oh,
I
that is
don't know.
horrible. I know exactly that.
I don't know what they were thinking. It was such an insult to Billy, and it just sticks out in my head every time someone talks about a bad head sculpt or head scan. I'm like, man, there's nothing worse than that Billy Gunn Titantron Live head. Had a molded on bandana, but it was a freakish like mouth. I was very bizarre looking figure. That always sticks out to me. And like disappointment, I'm gonna piggyback off that. The huge disappointment for me as a kid was the Titantron figures. You know, I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. These figures can play their music. This is incredible. I loved having like a little boombox in my area, and I would play like the WWF Volume 3 when I was playing my figures. And then I'm like, oh, I don't have to do that no more. This is gonna. It's like didn't work. You'd put a figure on and it would play a completely different song. Not to mention, there's only like 10 songs it could possibly play on there. And then they were going to put out more figures, and then they just played the, you know, you'd get a figure and he would play just the Raw is War theme song. It was so whack, such a whack. I think the idea was there, just the execution couldn't couldn't be what everybody wanted it to be and needed it to be. So definitely Titantrons.
I agree.
Okay. Hey, just one more thing and then turn over to Saltine. Now, are you a fan of variants or chase
Yeah,
figures?
absolutely.
And explain this to fans that may be listening that may not understand. Um, I'm a Funko Pop collector as well.
Yep.
We're actually a bunch of Funkos. A lot of times with Funkos, even figures in general, you have a figure that's called a chase, meaning that you have a figure. Let's give an example. I'll go to Buddy Jake the Snake. You have a Jake the Snake figure. He could have green tights and a brown snake. That's the default figure. But then the chase figure can have him with a different outfit. And it's called a chase because it could be one out of the six, one out of the five, could be one out of the 20, 25, 3,000, 5,000. They're one figure out of whatever denomination they decide 5, 10, 15, 20, 2,000 will be different. It could be different types, could be a different head sculpt, different body sculpt. Damien could be a different color. The boots could be a different color or different. And then that's what's called the chase figure. WWE, what they tend to do a lot with their elite collections, in AEW, a lot of times AEW has it now on their package where it says Chase. Funko normally has it. But WWE, they got smart, same way with Hot Wheels and other collections where sometimes they don't say the Chase. You have to actually know, you have to look it up. So that's like a type of a variant. And sometimes some variants aren't chases. They could just be store exclusives or collection exclusives. So just to give fans that may not be in the lieu of collecting know what that means. But Fix, since you the professional brother, you got me beat. Are you a fan of variants? Do you like chases? And if so, what are some of your favorites and least favorites of those?
I love them. I've always liked variants even before Chase. I always liked as a kid variants having like the same figure and having it in a different attire. I mean, there's a reason that these guys don't wear the same gear every single week. You know what I mean? Because you got to be different and you got to switch it up. So when I'm playing with my figures as a kid, like I want my Triple H to have different tights every week. You know what I mean? Like that's I love that. And chases, all about chases. I think it's great. Everybody likes to have something that's a little bit more limited, a little bit harder to find. If everything was easy and at our fingertips, I think the appeal would be lost a little bit. Love them both,
Yeah,
man. Love them both. My favorite though, I mean, it changes all the time, constantly getting stuff, but I really, really like the AEW chase figure of Sean Spears, believe it or not. He's in this like metallic
Good
teal.
dude.
Oh, it pops. I like it. I like it a lot. I think
Sean's a
it's
good dude. Yeah,
yeah,
Sean's a good guy.
yeah. I think it's awesome.
EW. I got to throw out there anyone that follows the show and knows me, and shout out to my other brother, big brother Chris Featherstone, Pancakes to Power Slams. Check him out. Sting is the goat to me, my favorite. His chase figure, I do call it really chase, the Walmart exclusive where his paint is
Yep.
like Darby's,
Yeah.
is one of my favorites too. Now, his and Jericho as far as the recent ones, and the Sean Spears one, which I didn't even know. So you talked about on one of your videos. I didn't even know that was a chase.
Yeah.
It's the small things. Also, too, I want to mention, and I'll turn this over to Saltine, is sometimes it's not always about the attire or the sculpt. Like the head sculpt could be different hair, different mustache, different mouth, different pants and shirts. Sometimes, as you know, it could be a card. Because
Yep.
some stuff back in the day had a small card, a large card. The
Mm-hmm.
card could be different.
Yep.
The card could say one thing and then the other. It could be a botch or a glitch on the card itself. The skin tone could be different, as we joked about Hogan, black and white Hogan, dark skin, light skin,
Yep.
Jimmy Hart, Kevin
Crazy.
Sullivan, friend of the show. He's dark skin, light skin, crazy stuff. So just want to throw it out there. Go with Saltine.
right. I got the elephant in the room. Yesterday they announced the WCW Monday Nitro set.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know your feelings on that. That when I saw that, I was like, "Holy shit!" Just
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. So uh, a lot of people have been speculating that was going to be a crowd fund. You know, they've had like the Raw Arena, they've had the Nitro Arena on display places. I had some insight on a couple things going on, and I started to speculate a few months ago as to whether or not they had something to do with the upcoming crowdfund. It wasn't the arena, but it was like, some things being worked on. And I was like, I wonder if this, and I was starting to piece it together, and I was like, a lot of WCW stuff going on right now. And then, Steve dropped the whole little teaser last week, and I was like, all right, it's definitely going to be the Monday Nitro. A lot of people were speculating that it was going to be a 2-in-1 Monday Nitro and Raw arena. I was like, I don't see them doing that. They're too different, and the amount of tooling, it just wouldn't be worth it. I think that it's going to be Nitro and have a good amount of figures. I think it's beautiful. I think the arena is awesome. The problem for me is real estate. I didn't have real estate to display the new generation arena from, the last crowdfund. I never displayed it, but I took the figures out, and I like the figures. This is 4 times the size now. I don't have any place to put it. I'm going to get it 100%. I'm going to buy it. But yeah, I think that's a big problem with it. It's massive. I don't think the typical collector has room for a 40-inch by 31-inch stage. That's a lot of space that you need for that. And that's not a complaint, because I mean, like, the fact that they're offering that to us is incredible. That who would have thought we would get a 2-scale Monday Nitro arena that is like identical to what the actual thing was. It's beautiful. The figures are awesome. We're talking about potentially the first ever Scott Steiner Mattel figure if we hit 9,000 backers. A lot of people complaining about Ultimate Warrior, Rey Mysterio, and Hulk Hogan being included in this thing, and I don't understand why, because what we're talking about here is you need to have an anchor. They're not going to, no offense to anybody, because I respect anybody who's ever laced up a pair of boots, ever stepped into a ring, but they are not going to be able to sell $11,400 action figure stage sets by including Hugh Morris. I mean, if people don't understand why Rey Mysterio, Hulk Hogan, and the Ultimate Warrior are included in this, then I don't think there's even a conversation to have, because there's nothing I can say it's going to make you understand why 3 huge names in the history of wrestling are included in this thing. Have we gotten a lot of Ultimate Warriors? Absolutely. Have we gotten a lot of Rey Mysterios? Absolutely. Have we gotten a lot of Hulk Hogans? Absolutely. But you're talking about 3 guys, 2 of which are originally WWF guys. The third of which is the biggest thing that came from the WCW acquisition for WWE. These are no-brainers here that Rey was going to be included in this thing. And honestly, I think I'm looking at it right now. I pulled it up because you asked me. I think that the Rey figure is awesome. I think, I liked how he looked then. It's completely different than his look now. It's completely different than his look in the Ruthless Aggression era. It's cool. We don't have a small, tights Rey Mysterio. And people are like, oh, Rey should have already had an ultimate. Rey's going to get an ultimate. Trust me. He's going to get an ultimate. Whether it's this year, next year, he's getting an ultimate. But what he wouldn't get this as an ultimate. And that's the whole point of this, is providing us with figures that we would not get at mass retail. All right. We would probably get a Big Papa Pump at some point in the main line. We would not get Diamond Dallas Page in the Ultimate line. I really truly believe that. Diamond Dallas Page, big name, star, but is each Ultimate series only allots 2 figures. It would take a lot for DDP to replace a bigger name. You got to think about it. This is to make money. So are they going to put DDP in the main Ultimate line? I'm not so sure. Maybe far, far down the line. And this Ultimate Warrior, is it a warrior that anybody asked for? No. But what I think they're doing here, my opinion here, I should say, the very first series of Ultimates featured WCW Ultimate Warrior. A lot of people passed on the first series of Ultimates because it was like, there's 2 of them. We didn't know what this line was going to be. Okay. So some people passed on it. I would much rather them make a new WCW Ultimate Warrior than devalue the original Series 1 Ultimate Warrior by re-releasing it. So I think that this is very warranted because people do want a WCW Ultimate Warrior. Now, people who already have one have it in the Ultimate, and it's valuable. I think it was at one point like a $300 figure. Maybe it's more now. I don't know. I didn't follow it. But we don't want that devalued. So here's a good alternative. And Hulk Hogan, it's Hulk Hogan. Is it a special Hogan? I mean, there's nothing that we haven't really gotten before besides the head, but it's Hulk Hogan. I mean, it's at the end of the day, if you don't understand why Hulk Hogan is included in anything, I don't know what to say because he's a massive name. He sells figures. He sells merchandise.
Biggest star.
Yeah, and everybody knows Hulk Hogan. Now, also, this Hulk Hogan, my understanding, is only included in the set if we get, I think it's 5,000 backers within the first 10 days, I believe. April 7th, I believe it is. I'm trying to find April 7th. So I think that's 10 days. See, that's a lot. That's about 500 backers a day in the first 10 days. That's difficult. That's difficult.
Wow.
And if we don't now, if we don't meet 5,000 backers by April 7th, Hogan gets wiped away. That's not on the table anymore. So I'm very, very curious to see how this is going to run. You know, $400 is a lot for anybody. You know, to drop $400 on, one toy set, that is a lot of money. And it's not, oh, that's a lot of money for a casual fan, or that's a lot of money for the common American. No, that is a lot of money. $400 is $400, and it's a lot of money to drop on an action figure set. Now, am I going to do? Yes, I'm going to back it. I'm going to buy it. Absolutely. I just have concerns as to whether or not, the masses are, and I hope that they do. I want them to. I'm going to promote this. I'm going to push it. I think that the value is there. People are arguing that, but we have to, break down the numbers. Ultimates in stores, when they're mass produced for mass retail, and we're talking about them being $32.99, so $33. Then you add in tax. I think after about $35 a pop.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they're mass produced. These are not going to be mass produced. At the most, I think what we're looking at like 11, 12,000 if we hit all the numbers we need to. That is not a lot. I don't know if people realize that, but that is not mass produced. And what happens anytime you make anything, if you want to make stickers for your brand, the more you buy, the cheaper each sticker is. If you want to make t-shirts for your band, the more you make, the cheaper each t-shirt is.
Exactly.
And the same thing goes for action figures, and molding is involved here. So the more you make, the cheaper it is for each one. We're talking right now.
Exactly.
Yes. And you have to remember that this is priced to make money. This is a business. Now, because this is a crowd fund, this $400 price point has to be based on the minimum amount of backers. So for them to make money, if only 5,000 people at the end of this entire thing back it, if only 5,000, that's it, on the dot, 5,000 by May 5th, whatever it is, back it, they still have to make money. So this $400 is based on that. They get more if they get more backers. Each piece that is included and manufactured, they make more money off it. So yeah, we'll include more. We get to 9,000. Yeah, we'll make more. And people are, here's the other thing is people are saying, oh, I don't understand. Why is Scott Steiner not being used as the anchor in the very beginning and being the first tier? I don't know. This is not information from Mattel, but me just looking from the outside in and knowing how some of this stuff works, I'm looking at Big Papa Pump, and what do we see here? Big Papa Pump and the Ultimate Warrior are basically almost all new parts. Pump's arms are huge, new head, new boots, pant mold on Warrior. These are all molds. To make molds is expensive. So they need more people buying it to be able to make these molds. All right. Whereas like the Hogan, we've gotten that mold essentially, but minus the head. Same thing with DDP. So there's a lot of factors here, into these things.
Yeah, it is.
And so typically, when you buy a figure at the store, like I was saying, it's $35 for an Ultimate after tax. These are not $35 figures at this point because they are more expensive to make, and they need to still hit that margin. And then we're looking at this massive stage. It has lights, electronics. It's huge. Then you have to talk about all the molding for that, manufacturing, being able to have this manufacturing all pieced together appropriately and be boxed. And I mean, there's a lot to this. It's not just about making plastic and sending it off. There's a lot more that goes into this stuff, and has to be factored into a price like this because this is not going to retail. So I do think at the end of the day, that you're getting $400 in value of stuff because this is not mass produced. And when I look at the new generation arena,
yeah,
everybody complained about that and said, "Oh, this isn't worth $250." Well, there was people paying $1,000 for that $250 item, and there's people that are still paying. There's still people paying more on the secondary market. So it's like
secondary market. Yep.
And a lot of people, it came out, people started getting in the mail, and people had, I should have got it. And then they had to pay more. So it's like you didn't want to pay $250 at first, but now you're paying whatever, $500 and $400 because it's the hot thing. And
double and triple.
Yeah, but at the same time, I say don't break the bank. Don't ever put yourself in debt for something, for a toy. This thing, it's over May 5th. If you can afford it and it's something you want, absolutely get it. But don't feel pressure to buy something that maybe you don't like. I think it's awesome. And I wasn't even a WCW guy. I think it's awesome. It looks great. You're getting 5 Ultimate figures. So even if they were $35 a piece, what is that times 5? I mean, $170, I'm guessing. I'm just doing the math real quick in my head. I don't know. But 175, is that what it is? Something like that. But I think so. I think it's 175. I mean, you're talking about something that if this doesn't get backed, are we going to get Big Papa Pump down the line? Of course we are. There's no way they're not going to produce Big Papa Pump in some way, shape, or form. But this stage is not getting produced unless this gets made. Yeah, so this is the chance.
Yeah, it is definitely because I think how they could really play it off with Rey Mysterio, all the masks, all the wrestling gear he had, like different colors, different makes, and everything. They could really make top money with that. And also when he was unmasked and everything, I want that. I want the no limit Rey Mysterio in my collection personally because I thought he was cool as that Rey Mysterio.
He was, and I truly believe, when Rey retires, I think we're gonna get that. But right now, it's just like with Undertaker, right? Yeah. We didn't get Mark Calloway until he retired. Then it was like they were okay with him being Mark Calloway and peeling back the curtain. Same thing with Rey. Even though we all know what he looks like, it's on the internet, right? They want to keep that kayfabe of him like that. And I think once he retires, I think we are going to get unmasked WCW Rey. But I mean, another thing, people are like, "Oh, these Ultimates have no accessories." We don't know that. How many times do they show an Ultimate or an Elite and they don't show all the cloth goods and stuff like that? I have a hard time believing just looking at this Ultimate Warrior that he's not going to have a duster.
Jeans. He has jeans on.
Yeah, he's going to have
jeans on, standing like this.
Yeah, he's going to have a duster. He has to have a jacket. I just believe that. I do think that they are going to have accessories, interchangeable hands. Yeah.
Yeah, you know how it is, especially with the ultimate lines. They're going to have different hands and fingers and feet, different toenails, and they're going to have
Yeah.
different dusters and hats, especially dealing with Warrior. He had the duster, the jacket, Hogan, Mysterio, he, maybe an entrance jacket or something. Scott Steiner, maybe add the little head mesh he wore. At least 3 out of those 5 figures, they're going to have something.
Yep.
And the fact that you broke it down as the professional that you are, to our listeners that may not understand the back end of making these figures, making these sets, understand why they cost so much money. You don't want to pay $400 for this. Well, you go on the secondary, third day market, you're gonna pay twice or triple.
Yep. You
If
are.
if you have the money, if you have the 400, if you have the 250,
Yep.
then yes, and you're not going in debt, then pay for it. If you have it, if you don't, wait. As Fig Hill said, he's got some of the best figures in his collection from raffles. Do a raffle on eBay,
Yep.
Amazon, Macari, all different people. What's not? Shout out to my pop buddies. Cali Chick and my buddy Dennis, Canadian Dennis. They do that kind of stuff on raffles and sell it. Sometimes if you can't get it now, get it later.
Yep.
Don't go in debt for this stuff, but it's still a great thing to do. And the fact that Fig Hill has explained why it costs so much money, get it if you can. If it's not gonna put you in debt,
Yep.
get it. If you get it, you display it out of box, in a case, glass case, safe shelf. The most we do with this stuff is we dust them. Make sure the dust don't get to it.
Yep.
Some of the figures don't even stand up right. You gotta put something in the back of it or hold something,
Yep.
hold something up. So
It-
I appreciate that. The
yeah,
natural
man.
set.
It's up to you. Like, don't people. I can't tell you how many DMs I got when they showed this thing. It was like, and I tell people, don't ask me if you should get this and spend $400. Don't put that on me. This is not my investment to dictate. Am I going to get it? Yes. Do I like it? Yes. Do I think it's cool? Yes. Would I honestly, even if I didn't like it, would I get it? Yes, because I don't want to miss out on it. I think that prototypes always look different than the final everything. This could get better as we go. Make the decision based on your financial situation, your taste in action figures, and go from there. But I do think this is a good value. It. All right. Let me put it. All right. Let me put it this way. Okay. It's $400. The last one was $250. It came with 3 ultimate figures. For like the first 2 months when that dropped, those figures were selling each for 100 plus. Alone. Each figure 100 plus. So if you bought one and you were like, I don't like these figures, I just want the stage, you sold the figures, you already made $50. So you're looking at a $400 piece, 5 ultimates. Which they might, if they go for $100 each, like the last one, you're looking at, you made $100. So it's all about how you look at it. But people were literally complaining that the last one was $250 and too expensive, and then they were paying $100 just for one piece of the package. One piece of the package they were paying $100 for. So how can you tell me that $250 is too much?
Right. You gotta tell people
If
no too. What if you was making this?
Me?
Yeah, tell people this. You complain about the price, and we're not talking about secondary and third hand markets where we got people that flip or do
Yeah.
stuff. What if you was making this, the time and the effort to make this head
Yes.
sculpt, body sculpt, all of that? How much would you charge? You would charge just that amount, if not more. So you gotta look at it on their end as well. Just in case if you went to a concert, do you do all that questioning if you paying to see Beyonce?
Yep.
Or anyone that you like to see, Leonard Skinner or the Grateful Dead or Jay-Z or Kendrick Lamar, anybody. Kiss is still going out there. The Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger. It's the reason why these tickets cost the amount of money that they do.
Yep.
You
Not
know, you gotta think about the back end as well.
Yep. And not to mention, man, name one thing that costs the same amount today as it did back in 2020. I'll wait. Name one thing. I can't buy eggs anymore that cost the same as they did last year, let alone 2020. I can't buy bottled water that costs the same as it did back in 2020 when the new Gen Arena dropped. So, I mean, when you take that into consideration, how much inflation has gone up in the past 2 years, and then this is only $150 more than the last thing, and the amount of stuff you get, these are all things that I take into consideration for my whole thing. I tried to take a step back when it first dropped, and I was like, all right, $400. Like it was a hit to the gut, and I was like, all right, let me think about this. Let me think about why is this $400 now? Ultimates don't cost what they did in
Right.
2020. Elites don't cost what they did in 2020. Basics don't cost what they did in 2020. Nothing that I buy in my entire life anymore costs what it did in 2020. And back in 2020, we all had 2020 money. So, I mean, there's a
For
lot of
sure.
factors here. You know what I mean? Like that. Like, I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm just saying, like, I truly don't believe this is a get rich quick thing by Mattel, because guess what? Newsflash, spoiler alert, Mattel's already rich. We're talking about a massive corporation. So this ain't no get rich quick thing. This is
Spoiler alert.
what this really comes down to is, you want it? Well, you got to pay the price, because this ain't going to Walmart. This ain't going to Target. This ain't going to Ringside. You want it? Well, you got to pay up for it.
Kmart,
Yeah,
Caldor,
you got to pay up.
corner store.
Bradley's.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
Supermarkets.
Yep.
You're not gonna get that at all.
You ain't kidding, man.
But so with the figures, and we know you have a lot.
Yeah.
And this is a question coming from a professional collector, and you know this is coming from one professional collector to another.
Okay.
Because only a collector can ask this, and you get what I mean when I say this. And everyone watching this that collect can get this. We all have that one area in our collection room that this draws us when we're sad, when we're having a bad day, when life is getting on us, that we go to, you know, for like therapeutic purposes. We just need because it happens sometimes. You collect, you have a bad day, people realize as being a collector, use that as a form of therapy, or you use that as a form of, hey, you have a bad day, you can't get the figure you want, or you can't get something, a prototype or what have you, which we'll get to next. And sometimes you're just down. And the hard work you put into sometimes grabs you and gives you strength. Or you have memories where you say, hey, you know what? Let me go to this area, or that one area in your room that you go to, and you're like, you know what? I don't know why. I'm just keep getting drawn to this area, to this figure, to this section, to this ring, to this person. What's that area in your room or rooms that you feel always draws you? You always gravitate to.
Man, I see that's a hard question for me. I love it all, man. Like, I go into that room and I just walk around, man, and I admire everything. It's my art, you know. It's the art in
Mm-hmm.
my house, and I appreciate all of it. So I really don't have an answer for that. There's not one section, because I really do go in there and I'll just decompress, man, and feel good about everything. I love everything in there, to be honest with you, man. I do.
Yeah, that's
So
good. Is there an area that's more sentimental for you that you feel like, okay, all
it
this area is good, but this figure here, like I remember the the years or the hours of getting this one figure, this prototype.
Okay. I mean, it depends on the day. Like the Hasbro stuff, I love looking at the Hasbro stuff I have. The BCAs really bring me back. Those shelves really bring me back. It depends on the day and how nostalgic I'm feeling.
Okay.
I really do. It's hard for me to say one, because I love it all. It all brings me back to a different period in my life. It does, because You know, not all this stuff came out at the exact same time. It was periodically, you know, it was segmented throughout my entire life, and there's memories attached to each era. And I almost kind of relate every era of my life to this stuff. Everything, you know, I have memories of things that I was doing outside of collecting based on, oh, I remember when this dropped, this was going on in my life. You know what I mean? Like that's just that's how I feel, you know, like it's hard to say.
Right, I see.
Yeah.
It's depending on how you feel and depending on the day, depends on what you may gravitate or what you may think about. And I get that. I've been there before.
Yes.
What is some of your fan questions too? A lot of people ask this. What do you feel is your rarest, your most rare figure that you have in your collection?
It's probably goes back to what we talked about earlier. The 1-2-3 Kid or the Hulk Hogan. But then there's other things that aren't as valuable that are really tough. Like, you know, like I have this this Viewmaster from the 80s WWF, you know, like that's really difficult to find and come by. So there's that.
I remember that, yeah.
I probably would say the 1-2-3 Kid, probably up there. Or one of a kind items too. Like the Rocky. Yeah.
I like that. And what people may not understand watching this or listening to this is sometimes our favorite figures or your favorite figure
might not be anything special.
May not be anything special. It may be because of the work you had to put in to get it.
Yeah.
It may only be valuable for $25, but hey, it took me 5-10 years to get this. Or hey, it took me 16 hours of searching while I had the flu. Or hey, my pops helped me this, or my mom, or hey, I had a tough time and this helped me get through. So sometimes almost cherished figures may not necessarily be valuable at like $3,000. Because sometimes realistically, you get this. Is the figures that are like $3,000-$4,000, $500-$800. Those are the ones that's not easy to get because you got the second and third hand market that know they can get a cash grab quick.
Exactly.
It's the ones that cost only $18 and $50, and when you like, man, I gotta find this. I can't. You search up for years and for years. The V-Master, like, oh, the Butch Reed with the Nike swoosh, which ain't much, but oh, I gotta find a Galoob.
Tough to find.
It's hard. It's those the ones that are hard to find. You look it up. And it's like, oh, this is only worth like $15. Yeah, but how the hell am I going to find the shit?
Exactly.
So you go state to state to state, right?
It's weird. It's weird how things work, man. Like some of the stuff that's really hardest to find isn't that expensive. It's all about demand, man. But
so you say this too because I know dinner time is coming up. I'm gonna mention a couple of names, wrestling names to you, and I want you to tell me what figure pops in your head first.
Oh man,
get a bad.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Perfect.
Mr. Perfect. I think about the Hasbro, and I think about the yellow singlet Hasbro, because it always cracks me up. I never read the back of how you were supposed to do the actions. I didn't realize that you were supposed to spin the arm and hold the arm so that he could do the perfect plex. I didn't realize that as a kid till I got older.
Ricky Steamboat.
Oh, the Defining Moments Elite. Beautiful figure. Yep, beautiful figure.
Ric Flair.
My God, Ric Flair's got a lot. But it's crazy, man. One of my favorite Ric Flairs is actually a basic. It was from the WWE Mattel flashback basic line at Walmart, and he's in like the jet flying, limousine riding suit from like the late 70s, early 80s, man. And he's got that hair, like it's just he's such a baller, man. Like it just, to me, that figure pops, and I'm like, I wish they would do an elite like this. It's so good. And I love that figure, man. He's got the glasses. He's got this smile, this real cocky smile that he had in all his promos. I love that figure. That's definitely up there for one of my favorite Ricks.
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold Steve Austin is the Signature Series 1 Jax BCA in the Austin 316 shirt, because that was the first time I ever got one of his figures with the Austin 316 shirt, and he had the hands like this, and you could lift the arm up, and it would be like this, and you could put a figure there, and he could stun him. And I loved doing that as a kid. Loved it.
Uh,
Actually,
great.
I thought about getting that
Go ahead.
figure tattooed on me. That's how much I love that figure. Yep.
Hey, why not?
Because it means so
Great
much.
Muda. Great Muda.
Just like the Chara Pros, not one specific. To me, a lot of the Chara Pros, it's like the same figure, just repainted. There was one really cool one with like that demonic mask. He's got like the horns almost, the red, almost like looks like Darth Maul almost, like the mask. Very, very cool. Demonic and very, very toyetic and fun. You know, he's got the taped fingers and really cool.
Sting.
Got to go with the Galoob, man. You gotta go
Which
with
one?
the
Which
original,
one, brother?
the original, the
series
blue
one,
pants,
the OG.
the blue pants. You
Blue
gotta,
tights. Okay.
you gotta.
Blue pants.
If I had to pick,
You talking this?
yeah. I have the one in the entrance gear, the UK, but that blue pants. I mean, I feel like everybody had that figure, man. That was like one of those figures that everybody, wrestling
with
fan
that
or
same
not.
old belt. Everybody had that same old belt.
Yep.
That same basic ass WCW belt.
That wasn't even real or whatever. But man, you got to go with that. You have to.
So you didn't like the UK exclusive with the entrance gear, the pink and the black, when he like this and you got
I love it. I love it. I have it. It's great. But it's just that blue pants one is it's so iconic, man. It's such an iconic figure that I can't possibly put any figure over it. It's that good. It was his first ever figure too.
Yep, Undertaker.
The BCA Jax BCA Series 9. I was a big Ministry of Darkness fan, and they had one that came out in the robe, and I loved that as a kid. It was a removable cloth goods black robe with the red trim. Now that's not the best Undertaker figure ever made, but it's, you know, I always think of that figure and had a lot of fun with that. He had this hand like this that was like perfect for like a choke slam.
Is the red? That was the Ministry Taker.
Yep.
With the red, he had the same symbol, but had to highlight it, the red, blue, green. You know, sometimes gold accent. Where do you see with figures now? In days, I know you've been collecting for years. Where do you see the future of figure collecting?
I wonder this all the time, man. I feel like we've advanced so much in the last 10 years nonstop that I'm like, all right, where does it go from here? I really don't know. But everything gets better with time. So it's just like, man, what kind of technology and advances are we going to make? Because it's insane how much we've advanced. I really don't know.
I mean, we went from the figures with what 2-point articulation like this, the LGNs.
Yep.
Can't move them and smiling, same poses, what have you. You had the Hasbros, you had the punch and the kick and the elbow and the smash.
Mm-hmm.
You got 28 points of articulation. Then you making them sweat, making them spit, shoot water out, bend the boost.
Yeah.
They talking to you. You know. What is there next to do?
Make them like the inner workings, almost like a real human, and put some flesh over it. I don't know. It's crazy, but I mean, I'm here for it. I don't know. I don't know what it could possibly develop into. I would love to see. I would love to be a part of it and be around for all the advances. It's mind-boggling to me how this could develop.
And before we end this, because I know dinner time is approaching. Are you hungry? I'm hungry.
Oh yeah, man, I'm starving.
What is on your unicorn list? What is on your wants list. We know you have a great collection. We see it on your YouTube videos. Fig Hill, check them out on YouTube. You got walls upon shelves, upon desks, upon columns and rows of figures and stuff that are out of box, in box, because you have those collectors that are strictly in box collectors.
Yep.
Some are out of box, some are both. I'm more of in box myself, and I understand having out of box because I do both at times.
Yep.
What is something that's on your want list that you like? I gotta have at some point before I die, or even recently where you're like, hey, it may not even be that much expensive. It's just it's hard as hell to find.
I want the AEW Unrivaled Series 1 of 500 Cody Rhodes, but I'm not willing to pay the price tag right now. It's progressively been going down, and I always have my eye on it. And I'm confident one day I'll grab it. I'm very, very patient, as I said. So I'm just waiting for the right price for me.
What's the price on that?
Probably between $750 and $1,000. Depends on how fast it declines and where the line goes, But yeah, probably around that.
All right, give me a few others. What's some ones that's been haunting you? We all got that figure of stuff that's been
That's the
haunting us.
one. That's the one. Yeah, I mean, a lot of my grails I've gotten now. Now I can't really think of any others. That's the one that's eluded me. Yep. And I've lost a
Just
lot
had a
of.
fan question from I'm sorry, you said you lost. What did you leave?
I've lost a lot of auctions on that one, and I missed out when it was $200 on Ringside. It just eluded me.
Question from Brian from Glen Burnie just now on my phone. Friend of mine said, "Do you have the Miss Elizabeth rare figure?
Which one? The LJN?
The LGN
With the purple?
purple skirt? Yes.
No, to be honest with you, it doesn't appeal to me. It never did. Even as a kid, that one never really appealed to me. But like I said, the LJNs, I grew up just having the ones that my brothers had. So I didn't grow up with them in the sense that things were coming out and we were in the stores looking for certain figures and I was never able to find them, which I think plays a big part in something having a mystique to it. I grew up, the line was over. To me, all that existed was what I had, if that makes sense. We didn't have the internet, you know what I mean? So in my mind, what existed in the LJN line was what I had in my house. And not until I got older did I learn of other things. So the interest wasn't as diehard for me for them.
Because in your end
I have a love for the ones that I had because that's all I knew. Yeah.
Because in your end, you look at you about 5 or 6. You talking about 92, 93, 94.
Yep.
You didn't know. And I know on my end around that time, 93, 94. I'm 10, 11 years old. And, I had both SD Joneses. I thought they were two different men. Had the Hawaiian shirt and the red shirt. I'm like, oh, and I don't you with the Terry Funk.
Yep. I
didn't know who the hell he was.
I had them too, and I was confused by them as well. Yep.
And I don't even remember them in the package. I remember them being loose, and I got them. And us, living here in Baltimore, it was NWA territory. It wasn't WWF then at the time. Yep. So I knew Terry Funk with the spandex and being crazy with the Brandon Iron. I'm like, who the hell was this dude with chaps? I was like, oh, shit, it's Terry Funk.
With the green chaps. Yep.
With the green chaps. So, we didn't know. I knew about SD Jones and Outback Jack and Ron Bass and Breeders' Beefcake. So I definitely get that. Me, I didn't really care about the Elizabeth figure. I heard about that. Definitely. Now, the big grail, which we do know that Matt Cardona has. I'm about to ask you because everybody's been asking us to ask you this. Is the Kamala, the Hasbro, the Kamala? Do you have that? Do you know anyone besides that have it? What are your thoughts on it?
It's not to me. That's not a grail for me personally. I'm not saying it's not a grail. It's not a grail for me. I never really. I don't know. It didn't. I thought it was kind of silly. It's I get it. He normally has a moon on his belly, but they changed to a star. But to me, that's a pre-production item. It's not a released item. because it was a sample. It was changed for a reason. And I think the Rhythm and Blues Greg is way more impressive. Way more impressive. And I would want that
Yeah.
over the
Great
Kamala.
Valentine.
Yeah. I would want that over
The
the
Great
Kamala.
Valentine from the Blues. Yeah.
Yep. I think the Greg Valentine is
Now,
more impressive.
I agree with you. Now, explain how do you get prototypes, and then there'll be the end to this interview for part 2. People wonder how the hell does he get prototypes? He got heads and sculpts and arms and legs and kneecaps and noses and stuff. How do you get a hold of prototypes? Is it a buddy system? Is
Yeah,
it who
it
you
is.
know?
It's not even that. It's just people know that I collect figures. So, and I also run an account called Unreleased Wrestling Figures. So I get them
Yes, that's
offered
super.
all the time. I get them offered to me just all the time. And a lot of times it's stuff that I wouldn't want. It's things that have been released, and it's just like a test shot, which is essentially just like pink and blue plastic of a figure that was released. That doesn't interest me. But sometimes it'll be stuff that's like super rare and nobody even knows exists, and it'll be way out of my price range. And I won't name any of it, just because a lot of times like these collectors want to keep these things private. They don't want people knowing that these
Of
exist.
course.
So but that honestly that's how they honestly come to me. The prototypes are something that I really have never had to seek out, and I never even thought about them until people started offering them to me. Yeah.
Favorite prototype?
The Greg Valentine. That was something I wanted as a kid. I wrote Hasbro a letter as a kid, seeing if they would send me one, if I could buy one, because I wanted it. I think it's awesome, and any of the remakes don't live up to it in my opinion. But it's nice to have something in its place, like the Mattel Retro. But yeah, that's the number one. That's the unreleased wrestling figure. And I truly believe that nobody could tell me any different. That is the unreleased wrestling figure. That's like the face of unreleased wrestling figures.
Never repeat that name again, because I know we dealt with a little leg at the moment. What figure is that?
The Rhythm and Blues Greg Valentine.
Oh yeah.
That's like the unreleased wrestling figure. Because it was a big deal. It was a big deal then. That was the first time we were shown something, told it was going to come out, and it never did. You know what I mean? In the LJN
Yes.
line, obviously, there was Bushwhacker Luke, but there was no figure shown. There was different color shirts and stuff, but this was a completely different mold that we never even got in the entire line. This is we're talking about like pretty much a first. Massively known. It was featured in magazines and ads. Everybody knew about it who collected these figures, and nobody was able to get it. So to me, that is the face of unreleased wrestling figures, which is why I really kind of use that as like the face in the logo. But yeah, that's what I think. And what I think is not.
I agree with you.
It's not gospel, but I've been around this stuff a long time to know what holds merit.
I agree with you. I do. And I remember seeing that in the catalogs and magazines, never got to see it. And as we got older with technology, we understand why. I like the Lyndon McMahon figure.
Yep.
That's another one where it's like
I know. I hear that, man. But
there's another one. But we do thank you.
Thank you,
For
brother.
your time, Fig Hill. I look forward to having you
Absolutely.
on our show for a second interview.
Yeah, we'll come on again. I mean, I am dead tired, man. I haven't been home in 48 hours. I am tired and hungry, man. So thank you for having me. I do appreciate it. We will do another one down the line.
I'm with you.
Yeah, we'll do another one
I'm
down
with you.
the
We
line.
know it's Mania week. It's WrestleMania week, so it's busy for all of us.
Yeah, man.
Before you let us go,
yep.
Let us know the Plug Party, how to get a hold of you, social media, anything you want to promote or give a shout out to. You go ahead before we let you go.
At Fig Heel on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Find me, Fig Heel. Facebook. On Twitter is the only one that's different. It's at the Fig Heel because the other one got hacked and locked. But I also have my book, The Ultimate Wrestling Figure Checklist, available on Amazon.com. And you can join Whatnot, which is a big sponsor of mine, and it's a platform I use to buy a lot of figures. You can go to whatheel.com, WHATHEEL.com. And if you join there, you'll get $15 off your first purchase. I tell people, like, even if you just want to purchase one thing on there, you get 15 bucks free. But once you try it, it's the way to buy figures in the future, man. It's something else. I love it. So that's it, man.
Definitely is. So, team, thanks for your time. Fig Hill's been great. This is Tack on behalf of Saltine, on behalf of Under the Mat Radio. Thank you, Fig Hill, for your time. We go in this interview, so we go eat and go to sleep and get ready for WrestleMania week.
Yes, sir.
Have a good day, brother. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, guys. You have a good one.